Hey folks, this is Brandon Dunn with the Mega Survival School coming at you with the second, or number 2, portion of the Backyard Bushcraft series. We're going to talk about making char. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do it and tell you that you do need some natural material. Now you can use 100% cotton, which is what we're going to do today. You can use punk, you can use parts of the yucca, the fibrous parts at the very bottom. Trick is it's got to be 100% natural material. Because what's going to happen, and I'm going to go through the science real quick, it's going to create, it's going to go through the pyrolysis effect. What that means is we're reducing this, this item down to its basest form, which is carbon, its basest element, without actually causing any kind of combustion. So our fire's going down. I'm going to quit running my mouth and show you a couple ways to do this. First and foremost, I'm going to show you why I always recommend carrying more than one vessel for water, especially if it's stainless steel, because you can use it to make fire, or to make char with, if you're using it right. So let's see what I can do with this. Okay. All right, so we're just going to use a little bit. Toss it in here. Might put a little bit more in there. So it won't work with poly materials. I'm not a scientist. I just know enough about this to tell you that it has to be 100% organic material. Now the way that we keep it from combusting is we deprive it of oxygen. So what's going to happen is I'm going to flip my nesting cup over top. It's going to create basically a seal. There's going to be pressure because these molecules are going to get excited on the inside of this container. It's going to push all the oxygen out and keep this from burning. So some of the byproducts is going to create some methane. It's going to create some tars, and it's going to create hydrogen. So all that's pretty flammable. The next thing we're going to show you guys is just a basic glass bottle. You find these in the woods oftentimes. Let me grab a something to put on top of this stuff too. Okay. So we're going to get it down in there. And with glass, we're going to heat it up slowly, because if I would put that right in there, it would crack. The next thing I'm going to show you is with basic trash. So we're going to cut this in half. A lot of people like to make char, and I see all kinds of videos of people making char with those Altoids tins, and that's all well and good, except you might not always have an Altoids tin on you, unless that's part of your everyday kit. So how you can take this trash and make it make awesome char is you cut it in half just like that. We're going to load it with our char material. Actually, I don't know why I put my knife up. Getting excited. So again, here's why I say in my priorities, after you got your fire built, you want to start throwing, obviously you want water on first and foremost, and then you want char, because, and your other birds' nests drying out as well. The reason you want that going on is because you want to worry about your next fire, and this is going to make lighting those way easier, especially if I don't have my ferro rod. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this little guy up through just like that, to where there's just a very small gap. We're going to abuse this can a little bit more. That's going to go right up in there. Be careful and mindful of the soft edges, or the sharp edges rather. And it just popped out. Let me see if I can get that pushed through. Alright. Crisis averted. So throw that directly in the fire without burning ourselves. And again, we're just heating up this glass bottle all the way around. So stay with us. This is going to take a little bit. What's going to happen is once we start getting heat, it's going to start pushing those vapors, and they're going to be very visible out of this small gap, and that's how we're going to know. Once those vapors are done, once they stop, that means you've reduced it down to carbon as far as it's going to go. So hang with us and we'll be right back. I'm going to put some more wood in this fire. Alright, bushcrafters, we're back. We've got our gases pouring out of our can, as you can see. I hope, anyway. Let me get it heating up again to excite those molecules. Alright, so there we go. So you got the gases coming out. Now all we're doing is we're just heating this bad boy up to where all that's going to combust in there. So I wanted to show you that. I've also found a little piece of concrete. Once we get this little guy heated up all the way around, we're starting to scorch off the label. So if we put it in here too fast, it's going to crack and it's going to be useless. So we're just trying to heat this glass up a little bit more. It's a little bit more labor intensive, and then we're just going to put a rock or any flat piece of anything that you have, you can put over the top of it. And what that'll do is, again, that creates that that oxygen deprived atmosphere, and we'll get this going for you guys. So sorry for the poor quality. It's starting to get dark and we started a little bit late, but hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Alright, we'll get back to you once this starts to get finished. Alright folks, I just wanted to show you guys this. There's all these roiling gases in here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. That's methane, that's a little bit of carbon, it's hydrogen. All that's going crazy in there and it can't get out. So it's making an oxygen deprived environment, and that's when this is going to start to turn. And you can see down here it's starting to brown up a little bit. But all that. Alright, so we'll be back in just a minute and show you one more thing. This is still coming along very well. You see it leaving that small gap, all that that vapor. So we're going to make sure we're going to clean out a little bit more spot, a little more clear, and roll this guy up in there. Get that heat all the way around. Speed up the process. Alright folks, we'll be back. Alright folks, so what we've done right now is I always tell people that this is one of those things that you can't rush, and it's done when it's done. A lot of people ask me, well, how long does it take? And it really just depends on the material you're using, how much volume is in there, so many variables and factors. What I can say is when it's done smoking out of one of these areas right here, then you know it's done. So I'm going to pull this can out of the way, and I'm going to let it cool off for a little bit before I touch it. But this is ready to go, and we're going to see if we made viable char in this. This bottle is starting to, you see the tars, the carbon, the methane, it's starting to discolor all this, and on one side, the side closest to the fire, that's actually starting to char up. So I'm going to, just to be safe, I'm going to insulate my hand a little bit because I don't have any gloves. And I'm going to push this a little bit deeper into the fire and turn it just a bit. So we get there we go. So now you can see where this is starting to turn black, and we're getting all that discoloration on the inside. This should be pretty close to being done too, because this has been in the fire the longest. It's almost there. Aluminum cools down super quick, so I don't have to worry about that too much. This stuff should be almost ready. Not quite, but this one, I'm going to tempt fate here and pull it out. Okay. I'm going to bring some of these coals and pull them around so we have a little bit more heat radiating back onto our bottle here. So, alright, this is cold enough for us to fool with now. Since I'm not going to use this anymore, this is just for this video, I'm going to just tear into it. I would say for future use. You want to use this for as long as possible. So we do have the right color. This nice black material. Feels like we have the right texture.
It's nice.
So you want it to be soft and yet almost brittle, and it's a really hard thing to put adjectives to. So give me a second. Let's hit it with our char, or with our ferro rod, and see how we did. Okay. Let's see if we made viable char. Sure enough, did. So. This new spine where it's curved is tripping me up. Alright, we're going to use my scraper. This is the dog tag signal mirror cutting device slash scraper. I do need to get a video up of how to make your own. So we did in fact make viable char. It's windy today, so it's blowing it out. Well, maybe we didn't. No, we did. It's just so windy it's blowing it out. Let's see. Yep. So we did make viable char. We're going to toss that and make sure to see if this other one works too. Golly, it's windy. Yep, and that one works as well. Alright. So we made viable char with the can. Let's see how we look in here. That needs some more time. So, sure enough, I don't always build a campfire, but when I do, of course, the smoke goes right to my face. So bear with us a little bit more, and then we'll get the rest of this out. Alright folks, here we go. I think it's cool enough to where at least I can pop this off and not have to worry about it catching fire. So it looks like I tore it up a little bit. So we had the partial process go on here. Okay. Let's see if that'll go. This one's mostly, then this one. Still a little warm. So we're going to set that to the side. Get my little scraper out just to make things a little bit easier. And let's see what happens now. So first, I want to try the piece that looks the best. We're going to see how this one goes. I'm going to tear off a little piece because I think I'm going to do that. Let's see. We want surface area. We'll do it a different way. So here's another way to use your striker. I like to hold my striker with my right hand because I normally do it with my knife. So what you do is you put your foot up where it's going to be. If it's a knife blade, it works a lot easier. Put your ferro rod up and you aim and take it from there. And so yeah, that was viable char. So viable char. It is viable. So that's good to go. Let's see if this stuff is viable. We're going to do the second best piece. See how that one works. went around it. So that one actually created viable char as well. Alright, so let's see about the questionable piece. We're going to try the piece that looked like it did what it needed to do. And that also created viable char. So there's two methods how to create viable char. So we're still waiting on the bottle to finish up its process. But it should be getting pretty close as well. In the meantime, let's see if we can get one of these. I'm going to use this smaller guy. Tinder bundles to go. This one I haven't processed as much, but let's see if we can get it to go. So that's why you need to worry about your next fire, because with your char material, that works great. All you got to do is make sure it's in there, and that'll keep this going, even if this is wet. So, and that stuff still hasn't finished drying, so you guys see what I'm talking about when it comes to char. So give it a little bit more, and we'll be right back with you with this last piece. All right, folks, I'm impatient, so we're going to see if this works. I know this is going to be super hot, so. It looks like it's kind of close. See these vapors going? So it's not ready yet, but it looks like once it cools down that we have at least some partial. I think it's viable, at least a little bit. But you want it to get that completely dark coloration that you saw in some of those other viable pieces, like from the can, or that one really nice piece from the bottle. So let me find a way to see if we can get some of that out. Okay.
Smash it.
I don't want to smash it. You don't have to. Oh, well, we did make viable char, I can already tell you, because it caught as soon as I brought it out and exposed it to oxygen. And this is why you got to wait for the whole process. So, let me see. I know there's another piece. Yeah, there you go. All right, this piece is a little bit cooler, so we shouldn't have a problem with it. If I can get it out. Okay. So, let's see if this stuff will take a spark with our the ferro rod. It's way easier to do this with a knife. Okay, it does take a spark, and I just killed it. Oh, no. Alright, so we made viable char in 3 different types of vessels. We made it in a glass container, we made it in our water vessel, and then we made it into an aluminum container. So I do understand that there are those, again, like I said, those Altoid tins But I want you to try the stuff that you might encounter in a wilderness situation, simply because, you know, humanity's been everywhere. You're going to find garbage somewhere, wherever you're at, pretty much, unless it's a national park where they clean up, and even then, you're probably going to find some on a regular basis. So again, same thing as before, guys. I want you to post your reply videos. I want you to make sure that you know, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments field, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So until then, guys, remember, I want you guys to stay dirty out there. Have a good one.